You're standing in a grocery store checkout line. The cashier smiles at you, says something routine. Did you find everything okay? And you respond on autopilot. But somewhere in the back of your mind, a quiet, unsettling thought flickers. She's just running her script. You watch the people around you, scrolling their phones, laughing at nothing, repeating the same complaints they had last Tuesday, and something in you goes cold. Not cruel, not mean, just numb. Like you're watching a simulation, like the people around you are background characters in a world you're the only real participant in. You've probably never said this out loud, because how do you say that without sounding like a sociopath? But the feeling is there, this creeping, eerie sense that the people around you are operating on loops. Predictable, hollow, almost scripted. Researchers have a clinical name for pieces of this experience. Internet culture has a brutal one. You've caught the NPC glitch. And here's what I want you to understand before anything else. This isn't a sign that you're broken. It's a sign that something in you has been pushed past a threshold. And today we're going to talk about exactly what that means. Here's where things get messy. The world is designed for people who engage at surface level. Small talk, social rituals, performative emotion, these are the lubricant of everyday human society. And for most people, it works. They move through their day, hit their social checkpoints, and feel fine. But you can see the seams. You notice when someone's laugh is 2 seconds too late. You feel the exhaustion of a conversation that has no real substance. So you sit at a dinner table full of people and feel more alone than you do in an empty room. And the friction this creates is relentless. Consider the implications at work. Your colleagues bond over complaints about Monday mornings, and you sit there thinking, why are we performing this again? In relationships, you pull back not out of coldness, but because deep, genuine connection feels so rare that shallow interaction almost feels like an insult to what connection could be. You probably feel like you're speaking a language that nobody around you is fluent in. And the exhausting part, you still have to show up. You still have to perform the script, even when you can see it's a script. Research suggests this experience has a very real neurological and psychological foundation. Psychologists studying a phenomenon called depersonalization and derealization note that when the human brain is chronically overstimulated, emotionally exhausted, or starved of authentic connection, it begins to create psychological distance as a protective mechanism. Your nervous system essentially says, I can't keep processing all of this as deeply real, so I'm going to dim it down. Sociologists have also pointed to what's called social saturation. The idea that in a hyper-connected, media-saturated world, we are exposed to more human faces, voices, and personalities in a single day than our ancestors encountered in a lifetime. Your brain was not built for that volume, and when the quantity goes up, the perceived depth of each individual person inevitably goes down. There's also the role of early emotional conditioning. If you grew up in an environment where people around you were somewhat performative, where emotions were masked, where adults said one thing and meant another, your brain learned very early to scan for inauthenticity. It became a survival skill, and survival skills don't just turn off when you grow up. Here's the reframe nobody gives you. The fact that you can see the performance means you understand human behavior at a level most people never access. You are fluent in subtext. You catch the micro expressions, the contradictions, the gap between what people say and what they actually mean. That's not detachment. That's a form of emotional and social intelligence that most people are completely blind to. Researchers studying high empathy individuals actually find this paradox consistently. The people most capable of deep human connection are often the ones who withdraw from shallow interaction most severely, because they feel the difference. They know what real feels like, and anything less starts to register as noise. But here's the burden, and I'm not going to skip past it. Living this way is lonely in a way that's almost impossible to explain, because you don't want less human connection. You want more realness, more depth, more of that rare conversation that leaves you feeling genuinely alive. And the gap between what you're craving and what the world keeps offering you, that gap creates a quiet, chronic grief, a background hum of isolation that follows you into crowded rooms, the exhaustion of having to translate your entire experience for people who have never questioned whether the script was real in the first place. Here's the truth about the NPC glitch. It is not proof that you've lost your humanity. It is proof that you are guarding it, that somewhere inside you, you still believe that real connection is possible, that people are capable of more than their loops and their scripts. Because if you didn't believe that, the absence of it wouldn't hurt. You haven't stopped seeing people as human. You've started holding out for the full version of what human can be. And that is not a flaw. That is the most quietly rebellious, quietly hopeful thing a person can do in a world that rewards performance over presence. The people who feel this the deepest are often the ones who, when they do find their people, when they do find that rare, unscripted moment of real connection, show up with everything they have. Because they know how rare it is. Because they never stopped believing it was worth finding. If this hits something real in you, subscribe. Every week we go this deep into the parts of human psychology that most people never talk about out loud. And if you want to go even deeper, becoming a channel member gets you access to extended conversations and exclusive content, but no pressure. You already know what's real and what's just a script.